Hey guys, how's it going? Hit me with a +1 if you can hear me properly, just to get off on the right note. +1 if you can hear me properly, or better yet, where is Tiffany Dover? Let's see. Hey Yannick, how's it going? Hey, good to see you. Yannick is doing moderation, so all is good in the world. Oh man, great. So where is Tiffany Dover? Great, great. So I've been away for a while. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Sorry about that. Let me just settle in here. I got my coffee. I got my cigarettes. All is good in the world. So anyway, oh, and by the way, this is my mug. I don't know if you guys can see it properly. I got it here in Kharkov. It says Bakrat. What's it say? Baraktar. The drone that the Turks sold to the Ukraine armed forces. So anyway, where have I been? Well, I did a live stream. When was it? Thursday before last. And because of that live stream, it got taken down almost immediately. and I got a 1-week suspension for my troubles. It was with a certain doctor about a certain malady and some certain medications for that malady. YouTube didn't like that. Oh, no, no, no. And then I got banned on Twitter. Not only did I get banned on Twitter, you guys remember, let me share this with you. You guys remember, because this is going to be like show and tell. I'm going to show you some stuff here. You all remember that account that I had, real Gonzalo Lira. Here, let me just, oops, no, here like that. There we go. Well, let me show this one. It's bigger so you can see it. It was real Gonzalo Lira. That was the account I had that had a little over 60,000 followers on Twitter, and that I lost access to on the 15th of April. You all remember that probably, right? Well, that got deleted along with my other one. Let me show it to you. Let me just remove this and go over here. Yes, I'm a tech boomer, so you'll have to just bear with me. This one, this screen, yeah, Gonzalo Lira 1968. That was the one that I set up when I had access to the internet, which was on April 22nd. And as you can see, it says 0 followers. But in fact, I had just a couple of hundred shy of 70,000. And that's all gone. That got canceled. And that one got canceled, and the other one that I showed you, the old one, also got canceled in the same week. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, before I get started into this whole thing of being unpersoned, which is what's happening to me, I want to tell you that in the description below, you're going to find a link to my Rumble channel for this channel, for the roundtable, because this channel, I'm going to start dedicating it only to roundtables. I hired a producer. I'll introduce you to her at some point in the future. And she seems to be great and seems to be working out. And she's booking the guests, which was a real hassle. And she's booking the guests. And tomorrow we have a show. So it's going to be with John Kiriakou and Ray McGovern and Susie Dawson. And we're going to be discussing intelligence failures, intelligence abuses, and what have you, that sort of thing. So anyway, I just want to tell you to go to Rumble and subscribe to that channel, because all the roundtables are going to appear there. Right now, I'm in the middle of uploading all the roundtables to that channel. It takes a little bit, but I'll get around to it. I mean, it takes a while, really, because I have a garbage computer, this one that I'm using now. And it's just really just a bad computer. I mean, it's old. It's old, and it's not even supposed to be for this. This computer is supposed to be for writing. It was my dedicated computer for writing. My good computer, that's gone. And you know why. So anyway, go to Rumble, subscribe to Rumble, And for you Odyssey bros, I'm going to set up a channel on Odyssey, and I'll do the same thing. Sort of like to put my eggs in various baskets, if you will, and not depend so much on YouTube. Um, Let me see. Okay, I'm not going to bother with the chat, because if I start looking at the chat, I'll lose focus on what I want to say. And so what I'm going to do, actually, I'll just leave the chat on just to make sure that everything is going okay. A BitChute sucks, and I think it's a Fed op, but that's another story. Anyway, the point: go to Rumble, subscribe to Rumble, set up an account. And the famous roundtable number 20, which is the one that got me suspended, it will be uploaded there. I'm going, roundtable by roundtable from the first to the last. But weirdly, and I just discovered this, all of a sudden, like, numbers 6, 7, and 8 all got futzed around for some reason. Even though I uploaded some yesterday and the others today, I don't know what the hell is going on. But anyway, the point is that all the content is going to be there from now on, insofar as the roundtable is concerned. I'm also going to be setting up a separate YouTube channel, just Gonzalo Lira. As you can see, I rebranded this one, the Roundtable dash Gonzalo Lira, so that you know what's what. And I'm going to be setting up a separate Gonzalo Lira channel on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey. I'll have all of these things, okay? It's just going to take me a little bit of time. Now, why am I bringing up the fact that my Twitter accounts got shit canned? Well, it was a curious coincidence, right? A curious coincidence that I got deleted from Twitter on both of those accounts. I mean, one of them I hadn't had access to in months, literally, and that got unpersoned as well, And so my suspicion is that I got mass flagged by the NAFO bros. NAFO, if you guys haven't heard of it, NAFO. It stands for North Atlantic Fella Organization. Fella, F-E-L-L-A. Fella, like in fellows, right? And the whole point of this group is that they all have this avatar of a chia dog, I think they're called, the typical internet dog, right? And they use that meme. And they basically mass flag accounts that go against the narrative insofar as Ukraine is concerned. Now, what's interesting is that NAFO is openly, mind you, being run and probably funded by the government, by intelligence organizations or non-governmental organizations that are intelligent adjacent, if you will. And so you have literally government propagandists on Twitter, and you have the government telling Twitter who to suspend. That's the whole point of Alex Berenson. Alex Berenson, if you don't know, he is a former journalist for the New York Times who left the New York Times because he started telling things that were true. See? And about medicine, about the malady that we all had and all the rest of it. He started telling too many truths. And so the US government contacted Twitter and basically got his Twitter deleted. And he sued Twitter. And in the process of discovery, this information has come out. Okay? I mean, that's the level where we're at, where the government tells Twitter, a private company, a monopolistic company, a private company, who to allow on the platform. So it gives lie to this notion that, oh, it's a private company. Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook, now Meta, he admitted on Joe Rogan that some folks, they always use the word folks for some reason, as if that makes them more like relatable. Some folks came to talk to his folks in Facebook, and they deleted information that was true and accurate from Facebook. And now on Facebook, they have this thing where they have fact checkers, fact checkers funded by, you guessed it, non-governmental organizations aligned rather with the government, to check if the information on Facebook is accurate or not. And so the idea is to unperson anybody who says things that are true. You see, if I go and do a channel that's dedicated to the flat earth. And I'm telling you, the earth is flat. I've seen it. You know, I was flying on an airplane. I looked to either side. It was flat as a pancake. The earth is flat, I tell you. If I do a channel with that kind of content, they're not going to bother me. I'll probably get it monetized and probably make a lot of money off of very low IQ people. Okay? Because, of course, the government doesn't care if somebody is spouting nonsense or something obviously ridiculous. Because if they're spouting something obviously ridiculous, nobody's going to pay attention, or at least nobody is going to care. The people who will pay attention are frankly low IQ people who don't matter. Okay? So if I do a channel on the flat earth, no problem. I can have Twitter, I can have Facebook, I can have YouTube, I can have it all, man. And no problem, because nobody cares. It's when you start saying the truth that you get censored. See? Because nobody cares about a lie or something fantastical and silly and foolish. They care about the truth, especially those truths that they're most desperate to hide. You see? Now, there's the issue of censorship. But what I'm starting to notice, and it's happening to me, is unpersoning. Now, you guys know that I started my career after college. I worked in Hollywood as a sort of like a script writer, script doctor. Then I got into writing novels. I published 3 novels in 2 languages, 2 in English and 1 in Spanish, with big publishers, Random House, St. Martin's, and GP Putnam, later Penguin Putnam. These are major publishers, and they were reviewed, all of them, in Publishers Weekly, in Kirkus Review. I mean, they're notable. I mean, I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying that, you know, in the scale of notability, that was notable. I also went on and produced movies in Chile that got a lot of media attention, and all the rest of it in the major papers, in the equivalent of the New York Times and stuff like that. And you can find it online if you look for it. And yet my Wikipedia entry was deleted. It was deleted because it wasn't notable. And I've been in touch with Jimmy Wales, the founder of Wikipedia. Oh yeah, I was in touch with him on Twitter DMs, and that line of communication is cut, of course. But I was in touch with him, and you know, he gave this mealy-mouthed reason like, oh, it's up for debate, and they're looking at it, and you know, all kinds of bullshit, you know. And he was so smug and you know, condescending towards me, which is pretty funny. He doesn't seem to realize that I'm probably richer than him. Certainly more notable than him. Because, you see, for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Wales came up with one of the most brilliant websites on the planet, but it doesn't make any money. And he's always been pissed off by the fact that he's not a billionaire. He's just a regular millionaire. And a small one at that. And so he's always been pissed off that he's not with the big boys. And so whenever he's dealing with anybody else, anybody who thinks he's a plebe, he's condescending and smug and all the rest of it. He was condescending and smug towards me. The fact that he was talking to me, the fact that you know, I invited him on the round table, and he declined, but credibly. I mean, he understood what it was about. He knows the numbers of the show, and he knows that I get good guests. I'm getting even better guests now, thanks to my new producer. But he knows that I'm notable. But see, the word came down. The word came down originally in the Daily Beast that I was a pickup artist. Yeah, because, you know, I could tell you how to pick up girls, dude. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, the point is, see, the Daily Beast did a hit piece on me, calling me, labeling me a misogynist. Ooh. And also that I was a pickup artist. I'm not a pickup artist. I mean, I know Coach Red Pill was a cringy name, but it wasn't about pickup artistry or how to pick up girls. The whole point of it was to teach guys the basic lessons of life, the stuff that you need to know. Stuff like, for instance, you know, one of the videos I'm most proud of is the one I explained how to tip somebody. Okay, the mechanics of tipping, you know, of like actually how you give the money to somebody, and who to tip, which is actually more important. So you got to know who you're going to tip. You don't tip people at random. No, you tip the person who's going to control your experience. And I did a video about it. It was very popular. I did other videos where I talked about who not to date, and a perfectly reasonable thinking. Like, for instance, I said, never date a single mother. That one got like 1.5 million views. And the reason I said you never date a single mother is because she's going to have a whole bunch of baggage that you can't handle. Because you're a single guy with no kids of your own, assuming you can't handle a single mother with her emotional baggage and the fact of the kid. Because, of course, what's going to happen is that you're going to date the mother and you're going to have this kid all the time, and you're naturally going to feel affection for the kid. And you're going to play with him and you're going to do stuff together, teach him baseball or wherever the hell. Okay. And of course, if the relationship goes south, you're never going to see that child again. It's going to break your heart. And on top of that, a single mother, she might be with you because you've got the cash to afford her and afford her kid. And all kinds of trouble goes into that kind of relationship. And I explained this. And of course, this makes me misogynist, right? Or for instance, another video I did, I said, never date a woman who tells you that she's been the victim of sexual assault. Never. And I explained why. It's very reasonable. Because there are two possibilities. Number one, she's lying, or number two, she's telling the truth. Now, if she's lying, because people lie all the time to make themselves more interesting. If she's lying, then you don't want to have anything to do with a fantasist. You go out on a first date and you're talking, you're at a restaurant or wherever the hell you are, having coffee or drinks or whatever, and she tells you, "Oh, I was raped, yesterday or last week or last month or last year or whenever. I was raped." And so if she's lying, she's nuts. You want nothing to do with her. If she's telling the truth, which one would assume most people who would say such a thing are telling the truth, right? Well, she's going to have psychological problems that you can't handle. You're not a psychologist. You're not a psychiatrist. You're not going to know what the hell to deal with. I mean, her problems are going to be enormous. I mean, if you're dating somebody for like 3-4 months and you've gotten real close, maybe she's semi living with you or something like that. And then she tells you, now, way back when she had some terrible episode, that's totally different. That's totally different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you meet someone and the first or second or third day, she comes at you with this thing. It's too heavy for you. You can't handle it. And you shouldn't sacrifice your mental health and well-being for the sake of saving somebody that you don't know. I was talking about this very video the other day with Mike Adams, right? Great guy. I talked his ear off, poor man. And I told him, like, imagine, I meet some, I meet some guy at the bowling alley or wherever, some nice guy, great guy. We're chatting, and all of a sudden he hits me with, I have a serious heroin addiction and now I'm homeless. So do you mind if I crash at your place for a while? What would you say to that? You'd say, no, of course not. You'd be like, what the hell, man? I mean, you're a great guy and all. I like you. I like hanging out with you. I'm not going to, be best buddies and have you crash on my sofa. If you're a homeless drug addict, I'm sorry, man. I mean, my charity only goes so far. If you want me to spot you $50, no problem. You want to crash in my apartment on my sofa while you work out your addiction? No, I'll be happy to give you numbers to rehabs or doctors or psychiatrists or something. But you see my point. You can't be saving people. And I would say this kind of advice on the YouTube channel, on the Coach Red Pill channel. But of course, the Daily Beast twisted that around to make it seem that I was some misogynist, evil misogynist, right? And then later, there was this, I think it was late April or May, that I was, Kathy Young, who's a very good writer, by the way, she did a hit piece on me in The Bulwark. Now, for those of you who don't know, The Bulwark is this self-consciously Jewish publication. And basically, she said that I was not only a misogynist and a pickup artist and all the rest of it, I was also an anti-Semite. Because on my Telegram channel that I used to have but no longer have access to, I had reposted some 4chan memes that I thought were funny. Yeah. And you could say, well, they're anti-Semitic. Yeah, but were they funny? Yeah. I also posted, stuff that was, I don't know, anti-Hispanic, all kinds of shit posting, man. I mean, that's part of the fun of the internet, right? Anyway, those two hit pieces, interestingly enough, um, they got me like a lot of people because of those two hit pieces want nothing to do with me, and they think I'm a misogynist and an anti-Semite. Just because these two journalists claimed that I was in the Daily Beast and the Bulwark. And by the way, the fact that they did these big pieces on me in both the Daily Beast and the Bulwark would make me a notable person who should be included in the Wikipedia, right? Yeah. So check this out, what they're doing now. Hang on. They are trying to delete all of my Wikipedia entries. Hang on, let me find it here. Yeah, here. Here we go. See, this is my Wikipedia entry in Russian, because as you might not know, Wikipedia has a version of it in just about every major language, and just about every language actually. And yeah, they're trying to delete me here. You know, again, I'm a fairly notable person. I was actually in the conflict in Kiev when the conflict started. I'm here in Kharkov, and by the way, a lot of people claim that I'm not in Kharkov. Somebody said that I'm in Vienna, which I found insulting, because see, if I were going to be like pretending to be in Kharkov, but actually be in a Western European city, I would pick like Berlin or Amsterdam or London, something fun. But like Vienna, I've been to Vienna. I have friends who live in Vienna. It's a beautiful city, but it's boring as sin. And so I wouldn't be in Vienna. I'd be in Berlin. Yeah, because I've never actually lived in Berlin and I've been thinking about it. But now with what's going to go on in Europe, I'm not going to be doing that. Anyway, they're trying to unperson me on the Russian Wikipedia. And they're probably going to do it in all the other languages that my entry appears in, including Spanish, where in Spanish, I'm definitely famous back in Chile, right? Anyway, they're trying to unperson me. And see, the following data point that I'm going to show you is something that I've been reluctant to shine a light on. Well, hang on. Before I get to it, let me just say the whole notion of unpersoning somebody, digitally speaking, right? Of like trying to erase them by wiping away their online presence in all regards and make them a non-person. They've done this successfully. What's the name of that? Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, right? He's that guy who all of a sudden became like incredibly notorious. And have you noticed that all of a sudden, poof, he's gone. He's just unpersoned. Yeah, he was just this nasty little character, I mean, that's all he was, but he got completely just vanished, right? And so what will befall of him? Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. He has been unpersoned. And as I understand it, his financial life has been ruined. I mean, I think that he's not allowed to use credit cards and stuff like that. Perhaps he might be on like some sort of no-fly list. I mean, like, what's his name? Nick Fuentes, right? Is on a no-fly list. And what is Nick Fuentes? He's like a little pipsqueak who just insults people. He's nobody. He doesn't have any real political power, but he's been just no-fly list, and all kinds of banning in all kinds of regards. Very friendly acquaintance. I can't call him a friend, but I can certainly call him somebody that I'm friendly with. Jackson Hinkle, he also got the boot, unpersoned, no PayPal, no monetization on YouTube. It's a miracle that he's still on YouTube. He's going to get banned soon enough, unpersoned. And see, all these companies are monopolies. They're monopolies. And they get money from the government. And as Mark Zuckerberg said, they get told by the government who to let on and who not to, who to give them the old Spanish, the Spanish archer, elbow. Yeah, that's what the government does with these monopolistic tech companies. Yeah, and I know I'm smoking way too much, man. I know. Give me a break. I'm under tension. Here's something that happened to me the other day. You know, one of those missiles or bombs or whatever the hell it was. I mean, it was some sort of guided missile or some bomb from an airplane. Anyway, it blew up the building next to my apartment building. I'm not kidding. I have photographic evidence and video evidence that I've shown to people who I trust. I've shown it to both guys on the Duran, to Brian Berletic, and a few other people to show that it was real. I'm not going to show it in public for the simple reason that it would be very easy to figure out where I live because of the building in question and the geography. Okay. And so, yeah, but that happened. Blew a big fucking hole in the building right next to mine. I mean, right next to mine. Okay. I mean, this is a fucking dangerous city. And you can ask reasonably, why the fuck are you staying? Well, two reasons. Number one, I can't leave the country because the SBU has told me that I can't leave the country until my case has been, my case has happened, as it were. I'm supposed to be prosecuted for I don't know what. But since I have to be prosecuted, I can't leave the country. And if I try to cross the border, I will be arrested and I will be put in prison. So which do you prefer? You know, go to prison or live your life, and not house arrest, but effectively you can't leave, right? That's one reason why I'm not leaving. And the other reason, quite frankly, is that I want to see what happens. I'm not concerned with my family. I have two small children. They're 9 and 7. Their mother is Ukrainian. I met her when I was living in Paris, and they're safe and sound, thank goodness. And they're certainly not in the city. They're far away from it. They were at the beach. They've been having a good, grand old time. Anyway, the point is, I want to stay and see what happens. I can't leave Ukraine because of this SBU order. I'm sure I could find some corner that would be relatively safe, but sometimes it's smarter to stay in areas that you actually know rather than go to some strange place and try to find refuge there. Mm-hmm. So anyway, here I am, and what I'm doing is I've got a lot of free time on my hands, and I'm putting it to good use. I'm writing a book, and it's a golden opportunity because I don't have any responsibilities. I'm good for money. All I have to do is do something productive. And so I'm using it to write this book. And this book is pretty much everything that I think about insofar as our current society is concerned, our contemporary civilization, industrial society. And it's basically 4 very long essays. And right now I have, as of this afternoon, how much was it? About 125,000 words, which is about 300 pages. And it's roughly a third of the book. And if things go well, I'll be done with it by the spring. Spring, very early summer. That's what I'm hoping for. And at the pace I'm going and the clarity with which I have all this material, I think I'll make it. It's something that I've been working on since really 2019. I started thinking about different things, especially, when I had this deal that was going on in Amsterdam, and I started semi-moving there or living half my time in Amsterdam working on this deal. And then the Koof thing happened and all that, I started developing it, but there's nothing more postponable than writing. Okay. And so it's very easy to postpone it and set it aside and, I'll get around to it. And I sort of went through a phase like that, but now that I'm stuck here, I got all the time in the world. And so I'm putting it to good use. And I'm writing very steadily. And I've been able to really clarify my thinking on a whole range of topics, structural issues, especially, because the structure is always the hardest. Once you get the structure down, then it becomes just mechanical of just putting out the words. And I got the structure. So it's just putting down the words. And that takes time, of course. So anyway, now being in the internet has always been an entertainment for me. It's not where I derive my primary source of income, okay? It's just for fun. I enjoy it. But now, it's actually becoming a necessity. And I'll explain why. Let me just... let me just hang on a second. Sorry, guys. I don't have a producer to do this. I have to do it all by myself. Because of this. Oops. There we go. Now, if you will notice there, this is the Mirovets, um, what you call it, website. Hang on, let me find it. This one? Yeah. Um, as I'm going to highlight for you. Well, no, I don't know how to do that. Okay, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Oops. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Okay, there we go. As you can see, this is the Miroto. How the fuck do you pronounce this goddamn thing? Um, ah, Mirot Vorets. Mirot Vorets. I'm terrible with nouns I'm unfamiliar with, like names and foreign words. Mirotovets. This is basically a hit list. It's a hit list. Um, what you call it, of people that are considered unfriendly to the Zelensky regime. And you can Google it. Mirotovets, it's very easy. Google Mirotovets and Gonzalo Lira. It's the first entry. You'll find it right off the bat. I tried to archive it. In fact, I did archive it, but I tried using the Wayback Machine. And for some reason, some very interesting reason, see, when I tried to use the Wayback Machine, it didn't allow this website. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was because I was in Ukraine. I don't know. But it didn't allow it. So I had to use the other one, the archive thing. I'll post the links in the description below. But basically, see, I'm on a hit list. And so if I become unpersoned, then nobody will notice if I get killed. Nobody will notice if I'm gone. I mean, the whole internet thing, originally for me, it was just for fun. It was just a pastime, you know? Originally, I started doing my Coach Red Pill content because, since I said I have small children, my son is 7 years old, and I figured that by the time he was in his late 20s, early 30s, when he needed some good advice, I might be either just, drooling like Joe Biden or dead, just out of old age or whatever. And so I figured it would be smart to do a bunch of videos about things that would be relevant to him, relevant to a young man. Lessons or advice or concepts, ideas that could prove useful to a 20-something, 30-something-year-old man. That's why I did the Coach Red Pill content originally. And I was actually going to wind it down in 2018, but then it sort of like picked up and started getting really big. And I was like, well, let's keep on going. Let's keep on trucking. And then I got, last year, 2021, I just got bored and I was going to wind it down. And then this war happened. So here we are. But I was never really interested in being famous, of like being a YouTube star, which I find kind of laughable, because fame has never been particularly interesting to me. I don't find it that entertaining. I've done lots of stuff that didn't get any press coverage at all that I think is pretty cool, but it didn't help to get any kind of press coverage, so I didn't bother getting it because I've never been interested in being famous. Well known and respected among peers, sure, certainly, why not? But I don't really care. It's not a priority for me. And really, if I'd been unpersoned, in any other circumstance, if I'd been living back in Amsterdam, say, and I got unpersoned, so what? I wouldn't bother doing a Rumble channel or an Odyssey channel, which I will be doing later. I wouldn't worry about my Twitter disappearing. I wouldn't care, because it's just for fun. But now it actually matters. You see, because this Miroto, how the fuck do you pronounce this goddamn fucking word? Where is it? Mirot Vorets, which means peacemaker, by the way. Ironic title, okay? Because these are the people who celebrated when Daria Dugina was blown up back in August. She was blown up in Moscow. Yeah, she was assassinated. She was just a PhD student. She didn't bother anybody. She wasn't doing anything. And she got blown up because she said the wrong thing, or she said something that pissed off people. And I pissed off a lot of people by saying things that I think are funny or true. That's the thing. That, like I said before, that's what really bothers them when you say something true. Mm. So I'm on this hit list, and I've known about it for a while. I mean, for several months, as a matter of fact. The entry was started in June, I believe. You can look it up yourself, and because I can't really see it, it's too small for me to see. Um, wait, well, no, I'm not going to bother. But I've been on this list for several months. I was made aware of it by an acquaintance, and I decided, well, I'm not gonna, if you don't give something oxygen, it dies out on its own. Nobody's gonna notice. Yeah. But when I started getting unpersoned, which is what's happening, because the people who are pressuring Wikipedia not to have my entry and delete the entries that exist, getting rid of my Twitter account, not only the Twitter account that I was actually using, but one that was inactive for over 6 months, or yeah, 6 months. And now the ban on YouTube. Somebody wants me unpersoned. Unpersoned, and so nobody will notice when I get God knows what. See, back in April, when I went missing, I lined up some live streams with some people, and I didn't show, and that's not usual for me. I usually show up. I was supposed to be on the George Galloway show, and I didn't show up. And God bless George Galloway. When I didn't show up, he made a big stink about it, and other people picked up on it, and they all made a big stink about it because I'd been like present, and then suddenly I'm gone, and people noticed that. And I'm thinking to myself, if they're unpersoning me, deleting me from Twitter, deleting me from Wikipedia, deleting my YouTube channel, and then nobody's going to notice when something horrible happens to me. And they want something horrible to happen to me, or else they wouldn't put me on this list, this peacemaker list. Hmm. Yeah. And so I thought to myself, what should I do? I mean, I'm asking you guys, what do you guys think? That I should just take it, or instead up my profile enough so that if I go missing again, people will notice? And so that's the decision I made. That's the third reason I'm going to stay in Kharkov. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to keep on putting out content and making a nuisance of myself as I slowly grind away on my book, because I realize that I am literally a marked man, and marked by people who actually have the ability to do something about it. Because you always hear some fool say, "Oh, I'm going to kill you. You wait, I'm going to kill you." They're not going to do goddamn shit, It's all bullshit. But these guys, they don't fuck around, especially because they're losing the war. Yeah. Resentment, anger, frustration at losing, they lash out. They lash out at whoever's nearest. Me. Mm. And so that's why I'm upping my profile. That's part of the rationale for doing the roundtable, by the way, because I figure that, the more shows I have lined up with more people who have notoriety, people who are known, if I were to disappear and not do a show, people would notice. That's why I'm doing the roundtable. All those guests, unwittingly, they're my insurance policy. And I hope that this doesn't sound like I'm using them in any kind of malicious way, because I genuinely do want to talk to all the guests that I have on the roundtable. But it's insurance. Because if I don't show up for a show, then people will know something happened. See, that's why they're trying to unperson me. And that's the only rationale I can think of. Because if you go to the Mirotovets page, whatever the fuck the name is, the Peacemaker page, if you go to it, you will notice, I don't know if you can see, no, you can't see my cursor. Let me figure out how to do this. I'm going to give it one go, and if it doesn't work, that's it. Do you see it there? Yeah. Oh, it worked. Great. You see there? Langley, Virginia, and Warsaw, Poland. Yeah, there you go. See, this thing is an American op. It's obviously an American op. I mean, why the fuck do you think they'd have offices in fucking Langley, Virginia, for crying out loud? Do you know who else has offices in Langley, Virginia? There you go. Yeah. See, these assholes, I mean, this whole fucking thing is a government op. Look, Zelensky, he's a Washington puppet. Mhm. And what's going on is that this whole war is a war between the United States and Russia. The battleground is Ukraine, but it's an American war and American intel. And like I was telling you before, the NAFO people, those NAFO fucking crazy fucks, they're financed by Washington. This whole thing is an American operation. And so the people who get killed or disappeared, as might happen to me, well, those people get disappeared, on Washington say so. And that Washington crowd, those corrupt, psychopathic fucks who lead the United States, because don't kid yourself, they're all psychopaths. Well, they're the ones who tell Facebook to shut people up. They're the ones who tell Twitter to knock Alex Berenson off. I mean, this is provable. Zuckerberg himself said about the FBI telling Facebook to shut up some people. And Alex Berenson's lawsuit proves that it was the US government that told Twitter to knock him off. And notice that they're all monopolies, so it's very convenient for the government to contact these monopolies. All of these monopolies, by the way, have very hefty contracts with the US government. Contracts that represent a great deal of money to the American government. So they do what the government tells them to do. This, by the way, is the definition of a fascist police state. It really is. See, I lived in the dictatorship of Pinochet, and this kind of relationship, I mean, the Pinochet dictatorship is always called fascist, but this relationship between the military dictatorship and the governments and the companies in Chile did not exist during the Pinochet dictatorship. And that was a fucking dictatorship. But it exists in the United States today. And we have proof positive of that. We have the testimony of the CEO of Facebook, for crying out loud. We have the official civil suit papers, documents proving that the government told Twitter to shut up Alex Berenson. And we have here this hit list. Let me just zoom it in once again for your convenience. Langley, Virginia. What do you fucking know? So basically, it's the US government who wants to unperson me. And, maybe they just want to unperson me, so I'll shut up. Or maybe they want to do something worse, Whatever their objective is, this is the means that they're doing it. The NAFO crowd I told you about, they're financed by the government. They make no bones about it. And by the way, when my original Gonzalo Lira channel got taken over, right? Nothing happened to it except one video got deleted. Do you know which one it was? The video that got deleted was the video where I exposed James Vasquez as a liar, where I showed by combining multiple videos to show that James Vasquez was posing, that he wasn't in any war zone. He had stood in front of some destroyed tanks, which I proved were Ukrainian tanks, in the same location where other videos in other languages, in Belarusian, in Ukrainian, and in Russian, had been filmed. It was the same set. I showed how the smoke rising from this was not smoke from a battle. It was from burning trees, because the smoke was white. See, when military gear gets blown up, the smoke is black because it's oil that's burning. See, but when it's white, You've seen my cigarettes. I've gone through how many cigarettes so far? It's white smoke, yeah, no oil. See? And I showed that James Vasquez was a liar. And that's the video that they took down. It had like 130, 140,000 views. That was the video that they took down. None of the others. The US government, I mean, I can actually say, man, that the US government wants me dead. That's pretty damn funny. It is. I mean, come on, man. How many of you guys know for a fact that the government wants you dead? Huh? No, they just want to exploit you, but they want me dead. And like I said at the beginning, and all kidding aside, see, they don't want you silenced because you're talking nonsense. They want you silenced to the degree that you're telling the truth. If I did like conspiracy theories and trutherisms and all this kind of bullshit, no problem. These truthers, by the way, the 9/11 truthers, I believe, I'm positive that it was a government op. All those people who say Building 7, controlled demolition, all that bullshit. I'm positive that it was a government op. I don't know which government. I have my suspicions, but it was a government op run so as to obfuscate the little clues that are real, that point to who actually was responsible for 9/11. Hint, hint, it wasn't the US government. It was another government. And there's actually proof. And for instance, certain trades that happened right before 9/11, certain short positions that were taken, heavily betting bets out of the money, whereby the person who took those positions was positive that there would be a sudden significant drop in the share prices of airlines and some other insurance companies and a few other key businesses. And they all came out a cropper after 9/11. Somebody knew what was coming and knew enough detail to make a hefty profit for themselves. But the 9/11 truth bullshit, there was a controlled demolition, all this crap that they put like dynamite in the building or some crap like that. That was the bullshit story to obfuscate the truth. See? And have you noticed that egregious bullshit is allowed to flourish? Like dude, like athlete's foot, man. They let it flower and bloom. They don't do a thing to stop that misinformation, but they do make an effort to stop any accurate information about the malady that we had, about the situation here in Ukraine. I got these hit pieces on the Daily Beast. Why? I mean, you would think that a journalist would be interested in talking to the guy who was actually there in the middle of fucking Kiev filming it while it was happening. But no, they did a hit piece. They did a hit piece to discredit the video evidence I put on my Telegram channel at the time and my YouTube channels at the time. It was that they were trying to discredit me rather than highlight the accurate information that I was portraying. By the way, I'll tell you something else. Matt Taibbi, don't trust that guy. And that guy is part of the narrative. He's just pretending to be opposition. Because I told him the story of James Vasquez. I gave him the videos of it, everything. He didn't do a thing about it. Now, that's a juicy story, don't you think? Because James Vasquez later was like a witness and a collaborator with a U.S. congressman, with a U.S. congressional committee. He was giving testimony about what he had seen in Ukraine, and I'd proven that he was a liar, that he was lying about being in combat, that he was lying about the stuff that he pretended to portray. And Matt Taibbi didn't do a thing with that. And you'd think that a journalist would run with that story because it's a fucking juicy story. But no, Matt Taibbi didn't. That's how he contacted me, by the way. He was doing a piece on Jackson Hinkle, you know, and I told him that story. I had an hour-long conversation with Taibbi. I reached out to him later, to be on the roundtable. Never heard from him. I was polite about it. I did a follow-up, and no. See, because these people don't want the truth. I get a lot of comments on my comment section saying that I'm lying, that I'm not in Ukraine, and all kinds of other bullshit. They also try to, lie about me in all kinds of weird ways. But what's interesting is that the language is always kind of like similar. Like somebody told them, like, what points to emphasize, as if it'd get a rise out of me, man. I mean, at this stage of my life, man, nothing gets a rise out of me. Well, if you're hot and 22 and naked in my bed, well, that's a different story. But other than that, nothing's going to get a rise out of me at this point. So I don't give a shit. And I'll tell you honestly, chat, because I always think of chat as one person. Okay. I mean, I see all the different people there, and I appreciate you as individuals, but I don't experience that as individuals. I just see a flow of information. Okay. And so that's why I inevitably wind up thinking of chat as like a single body. And so that's why when I talk to you, I feel like I'm talking to chat, this collective individual. And see, the thing is, chat, the only thing I really care about this time is finishing the book. I'm 54, and for reasons that are private and not relevant for this conversation, I don't have a whole lot more time left in me. Okay, it's not the SIGs. Actually, the SIGs are actually helping me. Okay, they alleviate some of the symptoms that I have. And so I don't have a hell of a lot more time, and so all I care about is finishing the book, because I realize it's a golden opportunity, an opportunity I will never have again, to write down exactly what I think. And of course, I've got the intellectual firepower to make it stick. And by the way, when I finish the book, you're all getting it for free, because I thought about it long and hard. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I could post it on Amazon and make some money out of it. And then I thought to myself, but I want more people to engage with the issues that I raise in the book. And so wouldn't it be better to give it out for free? And then I thought to myself, well, okay, then maybe I could give it, charge people for the first month of release. And then after that, give it for free. Why bother? A couple of $1,000, who gives a shit? And of course, it's a book that some of it is philosophy, hardcore philosophy. Some of it is history. Some of it is personal experience. And so it's a mishmash. They're essays, okay? They're essays. They're not supposed to be academic books of some sort. And so I thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to release it for free. As soon as I'm done, as soon as I've proofread it, I'm going to put it up in the different platforms insofar as formatting is concerned, Mobi and EPUB and all the rest of it, also PDF, and all of them. And I'm going to release it just for free, because I'm interested in future Anon. I don't know who future Anon is. I don't know if he's alive now or he's years from being born. But I know that there's a future Anon who will read the book, and maybe he'll want to read it. Maybe he's indifferent to it. Maybe he'll be forced to read it for some reason or other. And I'll start reading it, and then something will hit him, like some truth that I'm writing. And then he'll read some more, and maybe another truth will hit him. And then he'll read more and more, and he'll be shaking his head at what he reads or nodding along. And he'll get the most out of it. I don't know who that future Anon is. I don't know if he's one man or just a bunch of different people. I don't care. Because just like you, chat, I don't care who future Anon is, but I know that he's out there. I can picture him in my mind, just as I can picture you, chat, as this amorphous figure in my imagination. And I just want to live long enough to be able to finish the book. And see, because of this situation with Mirotovets, whatever the fuck these fuckers are called, these fucking thug killer goons, that's what they should really call themselves. Well, I'm worried about that that they'll off me before I finish the fucking book. That's all I really care about. Yeah? And by the way, it's not even about Ukraine. It's not. It's about the West, because I'm a man of the West. By education, by birth, by everything, by the principles that I've lived by, I'm a man of the West. And so I want to understand, and I do believe I have understood, why the West is collapsing and just falling apart and committing collective suicide. And I have answers to that, answers to why the West is committing collective suicide. And I don't think people are going to like it very much. I know for a fact that the title of one of the essays is going to be enough to get me called all kinds of names. Just the title. It's it's pretty fucking funny, actually. They're going to call me, all kinds of names, man. But I'm not going to care. I don't care now. What am I going to care for then? Because once the words are on paper, that's enough. And I won't be necessary anymore. Once the words are on paper, then I'm good, because the words will be able to defend themselves. They won't need me around to defend them. That's the kind of book that I'm writing. But anyway, I'm going to wind this down. I've been going on for nearly an hour. I'm going to leave this one up, But by the way, if you care about the roundtables and stuff like that, apart from going on Rumble, you should download the roundtables, because who knows when, not if, when YouTube decides to shit can me. But I'll try to keep popping up. Like I said, go to Rumble, which at this time seems to be a more stable platform, although its user interface is garbage, right? But anyway, beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. And I'm also going to go on Odyssey. The guys from Odyssey reached out to me, and we had a couple of conversations, but I was like, fuck it, But now I'm motivated, because getting unpersoned, I'll tell you, when I was unpersoned from Twitter and from YouTube, I was scared. Yeah. Because I'm on suspension. People know about that. My Twitter account is deleted or suspended indefinitely. And so I thought to myself, if I disappear, people won't notice. And that scared me. Because getting disappeared, getting unpersoned, is the step before getting disappeared for real. And so that's why I'm going to continue with the roundtables. And I'll try to be doing videos as, on this new Gonzalo Lira channel, dedicated Gonzalo Lira channel that I'll be developing. But I don't think I have anything else to say. Real quick, chat, you got any questions? I'll be happy to answer them if they're reasonable and not too moronic. And I'll say that because you all know that there are some morons who comment, right? So, yeah. Let me see. No. Somebody says here, look, says, go talk. I lost the comment. Oh, here it is. I'll post it real quick. Check out Viva Barnes for a chat about a recent Texas court ruling that might change censorship. Nothing's going to change it. Don't be fucking naive. They're going to keep on going this way. Because the people leading the West, the United States, and Western Europe, they're fucking psychopaths. Simple as that. It's very simple. There's a majority of them who are fucking lemmings, like, for instance, Olaf Scholz and that imbecile von der Leyen. And it pains me when I say that about von der Leyen, because she looks exactly like my maternal grandmother. I mean, really, I'm not kidding around. My maternal grandmother is dead, of course. But my most vivid memory of her was when I was a teenager, and she was roughly my age. She was in her early 50s, roughly Ursula von der Leyen's age today. And they couldn't be twins, man. It's fucking freaky. And so when I say awful things about Ursula von der Leyen, I feel incredibly guilty, because it's like I'm shit talking my own grandmother, for crying out loud. Anyway, that's personal, trivial anecdote. But the point remains, a serious point. There are the lemmings, and then there are the stone cold psychopaths. And the psychopaths are people like Victoria Nuland, people like the Kagan family, all those fuckers. They're all psychopaths. See? And they're not letting go. Brian Berletic over at the New Atlas did a very, very good video today, as a matter of fact. I suggest you go check it out. The New Atlas video was about Armenia and Azerbaijan and the conflict going on. And he dissected it like a fucking surgeon, man. It was awesome. And he basically showed how it's basically the West riling shit up to distract Russia. These fuckers are psychopaths. They believe in chaos. They want to destroy the whole shit show for their benefit. That's what's going on. And, you know, some little pipsqueaks such as myself, they don't have a problem stepping on me, getting rid of me. But of course, they're sneaky and sly and passive aggressive. And so they unperson me first, and then they get rid of me. Like there. There you have it. It's right there on screen. Now, let me make it bigger for you in case you can't see it. They really want me fucking dead. You don't have to take my word for it. Google it yourself. I always tell you fuckers, you don't have to believe anything I say. Google it yourself. And everything I've said about Alex Berenson, about Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan, telling people, admitting that he got pressured by the US government, all that shit, it's all true. Again, you don't have to believe me. Google it yourself and you'll find it. And these guys have these monopolistic tech companies that, by the way, everybody knows that they deliberately try to squash out competitors, okay? Like if some competitor to Patreon starts emerging, Google will squash it. They all help each other out so that they can each maintain a monopoly position in their particular business. And because they're monopolies, and with big government contracts, huge government contracts, they are responsive to what government bureaucrats ask of them. To silence doctors, to silence journalists, to kick off some random guy in fucking Kharkov who's of no interest or value whatsoever. But yeah, they don't have a problem with it. And like I said before, Andrew Tate, that guy was everywhere for 5 minutes and then gone, like he'd never existed. Unpersoned. It's getting dark. It's looking a little creepy here on the video. So I'm going to call it a stream. I hope you enjoyed it. So chat, know what's going on.